Hello, I'm Ollie and this is CriminOlly, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today I'm going to talk to you about some of my favourite music. So today I'm doing the music tag, which was created by Gareth at the channel Book Songs and Other Magic. So Gareth, if you don't know him, is a booktuber with fantastic taste in books, but also a professional musician. So he talks about both of those things on his channel. I was tagged in this video by MJ at the channel Reading This Life, another channel that's definitely worth checking out. So a tag video, if you don't know, is basically a series of questions. We ask each other these questions on BookTube. We kind of bounce the tags around. So I was tagged, as I say, in this one by MJ. And I thought it was an interesting one to do because I've not really talked much about music on the channel at all. And as with most people, I suspect music is an important part of my life. I enjoy listening to music. I quite often have music on, instrumental music normally when I'm reading. But yeah, it's something that infuses every part of our lives, isn't it? But which, as I say, I've never really talked about much on the channel. So let me go through the questions. Then there are 7 questions, and then the 8th question is to tag some other people. So question 1 is name a song that always makes you happy. So for this one, I'm going to go with Country Girl by Primal Scream. Just a really enjoyable, infectious kind of pop rock country mix. It's got like a kind of fast beat to it, and it just always makes me smile. Back in the days when I was drinking, it was a song I quite often used to listen to after a few cold beverages. I just think it's a great pop song. And what I would say as well is I'm going to put together a Spotify playlist for all the songs I talk about, the music I talk about, and you can go and have a listen to that. I'll put a link in the description. So if you're not familiar with the songs, you can listen to them that way. Country Girl also has a fantastic video, which is quite dark. So it kind of captures the mood of the song, but puts a really dark and quite depressing twist on it. So if you've not seen the video, it's worth watching. Okay, question 2 is name a song that's great. That's a great fit for when you're in a pensive mood. So for this one, I'm actually going to go with the cover version. So the song is I'm the Cosmos, which was originally written by a musician who I'd never really heard of. I just looked him up, called Chris Bell, who was part of a band I had heard of, Big Star. He wrote this song. The version I really love of it is the cover by This Mortal Coil, which is on their album Blood. So it's just a really kind of laid back, expansive kind of a song. I remember I used to listen to it quite a lot when I was walking to work in the morning, and it would just kind of help me sort my thoughts out for the day. I think it's an amazing piece of music. Okay, moving on then. Question 3, name a song that changed your taste in music. So for this one, I'm going to go with Me, Myself and I by the band De La Soul. So this is a song that came out when I guess I was about 15. And I was starting to getting into indie music and things like that, kind of goth type music, and going down that kind of dark, depressing rabbit hole, I guess, of kind of shoegazer type stuff. And this single came out, and I absolutely loved it. It's just so infectiously enjoyable. And I immediately bought the album, their debut album, 3 Feet High and Rising, which I thought was fantastic. Just a really wonderful, wonderful, enjoyable song. And was very sad to hear very recently that one of the members of De La Soul, True Goy, died just a few weeks ago. So very sad news. He was not very old at all, only like a few years older than me. Incredibly sad. But yeah, a wonderfully enjoyable song, and it really opened up kind of rap and hip hop to me as a genre, which I subsequently explored a lot more, and there's still a lot of music in that genre, including De La Soul, which I really enjoy. Okay, next one then. Name a recent song that you've just discovered and loved. So I'm cheating a bit with this one because this isn't a recent song at all. It's quite old. I think it came out in the late 70s, early 80s. And it's not really a song exactly either. So I'm definitely cheating. But it is one that I've kind of, I guess, rediscovered recently. I must have heard it before. But more recently I've listened to it again, and I've become slightly obsessed with it. And that song anyway is the main theme from the movie Cannibal Holocaust, which was composed by Riz Ortolani. I may be completely butchering his surname. So Cannibal Holocaust is an incredibly bleak and horrible and disturbing and horrific, nasty film, which is basically is about exactly what the title makes it sound like. But this piece of music is like just one of the most beautiful pieces of music ever. It's really kind of sweet and uplifting and lovely. It's definitely got like a kind of 70s hippie vibe to it, but it's really, really nice, and I've really been enjoying listening to it recently. So question 5 then is name 3 bands or artists that you love. So I've got 3 for you here that I have loved since my teens, that are very different in style, but I still listen to all of them regularly. So they are Tom Waits. So Tom Waits himself is different in style from himself often. So he does either kind of like bittersweet, kind of smoky, jazzy type stuff, or completely bizarre, loud, noisy type music where he bangs dustbin lids and stuff like that together. So I'll put examples of both of those in the Spotify playlist I'm creating for this. So he's someone I think is absolutely fantastic. The next one is the band The Velvet Underground. So I love the Velvet Underground. I think they're an amazing band, so influential on on punk in particular, but just on indie music generally. I love all 4 of their main studio albums, which are all very different from each other, but I think all 4 of them are absolutely fantastic. I also absolutely love their live album 1969, which I think is probably my favourite live album ever. And then the final one is one that's probably a bit more familiar to people, is Stevie Wonder. So I think Stevie Wonder is just a fantastically versatile artist. His music is just joyous. So much of his music just makes me smile, makes me happy. And what a voice, what a vocal range as well. I just think he's absolutely phenomenal. If I were to name a fourth, if I were to cheat and name a fourth, it would be the punk band, the Dead Kennedys, who again I've loved since I was a teenager. I think they're just fantastic. I love the kind of satire they wove into their music, as well as the fact that they just made good short punk songs. Okay, moving on then. Question 6: what instrument would you like to be able to play? I don't know. I don't know. I guess, what would I like to be able to play? As a kid, like many kids, I had a few piano lessons and was just terrible at it. So I never even did like the first exam, whatever they call that. Guitar sounds a bit obvious. I know, I'd like to be able to play the harmonica. I'd like to be able to play something I could carry in my pocket and just pull out and play a tune in a bar or something like that. People will buy me drinks, soft drinks, because I don't drink. But I think the harmonica will be a fun one. Okay, question 7 then. So this brings it back to books. So name a fiction book with music at the centre of the narrative. So I've got 2 for you here. These are 2 books from the 7th Precinct series by Ed McBain, my favourite book series, as I never tire of saying. But these are 2 books in that series actually, which aren't great ones. One of them's pretty good. One of them's really quite bad. So those books are Calypso and The Frumious Bandersnatch. So Calypso revolves around the disappearance of a Calypso artist, and came out, I don't know when it came out, I'm going to say like the 60s or 70s. I think it's a relatively earlier one, and that's okay, and it's got some really dark stuff in it that's quite enjoyable. The other one, The Frumious Bandersnatch, is about a rap group, and just Ed McBain, who was, by the time he wrote it, I guess in his 70s probably, trying to write about a rap group just does not work at all. So yeah, there's two books that you maybe don't want to read if you're looking for a book about music. Okay, final question then is to tag some people. So I'm going to tag 3 people for this one who I don't think I've seen do this tag already, but if you have, apologies. So they are Brian,